and they have strong endurance, which Kale has shown. He's been knocked down a bunch of times. We forgot to tell you, Clayton, but he broke his spine a second time.
What? Whoa, okay.
Welcome to the Bookends, the in-depth book review that you never asked for.
We read 2 books this time. Well, you guys did.
They take place at the same time. Empire Storms is kind of our main cast, and then Tower of Dawn is Kale and Nezrin's adventure when they go to the southern continent.
And spoiler alert.
What's the spoilers in half the time?
Let's drink, talk, learn then.
So I did Throne of Glass characters as D&D creatures. So I fully built out all the characters as D&D characters that you can play with. Michael made an encounter if you guys want to play later. Okay. So just real broad overview when you're making a character. There's like a couple big parts. One is the class, that kind of is the character's job or their abilities. Next is the race, which is like their species. Then their background, which gives their origin story and some personality traits. And then you can add features or feats that are just like extra abilities that are specific to a character. Each character also has an alignment, which kind of directs what kind of actions they do. So each character is either lawful, neutral, or chaotic. And then they are also either good, neutral, or evil. So there's some combination of that too. Okay, so I made characters for each of these people, and I don't have time to go through all of them. So you guys can pick. Who do you want to see? Or I can try to go through all of them, and we probably wouldn't have time to play the encounter, but it's up to you.
Wait, so we're picking who we're gonna. I'm Kale. I picked Kale.
Okay, I knew you would. All right.
Pick Manon.
I bet Kale's awesome.
Kale, aka Lord Westjall. That's his character name. His race is a Goliath. Goliaths are from cold mountainous regions like Kale. They have big, powerful builds. They're very athletic despite that, and they have strong endurance, which Kale has shown. He's been knocked down a bunch of times. We forgot to tell you, Clayton, but he broke his spine a second time.
What? Whoa, okay, well.
But he got back up.
It was so mean. They're just like, the Val just like, I'm going to get you right in the back again.
They're good like that. His class, I actually multi-classed him, so that means he has 2 classes. First is a paladin, which paladins are very driven by an oath. So his oath is to the crown, or to Dorian. He has interception fighting style, meaning he tries to take the brunt of attacks from other people, which we see he like constantly is throwing his body in front of people. And during his action, he gets extra attacks because he's so good. But then after his injury, he has to learn how to fight while being in a chair or even mounted on a horse. And so he multi-classes into a fighter cavalier style. And then his background, I made him a knight because he's like technically chivalrous, I guess, and loyal. I made him lawful neutral. So he, based on his knighthood, he really identifies with responsibility. It's his duty to respect authority. And his bond, as is very evident, loyalty to his sovereign. You can tell from this, his biggest things are his strength and his constitution, but he's not very smart and he's not very charismatic. That's these stand for strength, intelligence, dexterity, wisdom, constitution, and charisma. But he's got pretty good max hit points, so you can hit him over and over again, and he comes back. And he's a level 10, so like halfway.
Sweet. Okay, I feel good about my choice.
Yeah, and for features, he is durable, as we've talked about, and he's a great weapon master. So he like knows how to fight with a bunch of
Great weapon master. Oh my gosh, he's so key.
I'm gonna be the tank.
there's more tanks, but you can be Kale. All right, Manon was the next one. I love Manon. All right, Manon, aka Witchling. Her race is a tiefling. Tieflings Their ancestor at some point made a pact with a demon, and now all of their offspring look kind of demon lizard-like. Her ancestor made a pact with Beelzebub. Beelzebub, like the vow, likes to corrupt others, make them weak, turn them to their side. With this, she gets dark vision, and she has some inherent spells that can poison or weaken her opponents. I made her a ranger, specifically a Drake Warden. Rangers are deadly hunters, and Drake Wardens fly dragons. Well, technically drakes, but at a high enough level, they can turn into a wyvern, which is what she does. They have favorite enemies, which for her would be like the Cochrans. Dual fighting style, because she fights with her wind cleaver, and she does have some basic magic. Her background is as an outlander because she was exiled from the wastes, and her alignment is lawful evil. So she, values honor. That's the lawful part. If she dishonors herself, she dishonors the clan. And evil, she thinks that the strongest are meant to rule. Another part of the outlander is glory. They must earn glory in battle for themselves and their clan, which is outfit with her. She's a pretty well-rounded character. She is a level 14, which is high. She's been alive for 100 years, so that makes sense, but she's got room to grow. And her features are athlete, so like she can move and jump and do things really quickly. And infernal constitution, which is a tiefling feature where she's immune to a lot of damage types. Oh gosh, go away. All right, Michael, which one did you want?
Lysandra.
Ooh. Lisandra, aka Lady of Caravir, is a shifter. That's her species or race. Specifically a swift stride. They kind of lean towards the feline animals, and they're known for their speed. And while they're shifted, they have enhanced physical abilities. So she's stronger and faster, things like that. Her class is a druid, specifically Circle of the Moon, because they're very connected with nature and animals and can shift using wild shape to any animal species. So she's very shifty. And then her background is an urchin because she grew up poor on the streets. She's got that street cred. I made her chaotic good. And with a urchin, chaotic kind of aligns with change, which fits with the shifter. People go up, other people go down. Change is the nature of things. And one of the bonds listed under urchins was, I sponsor an orphanage to keep others from enduring what I had to endure. So that's like her and Evangeline. Evangeline? Maybe that's her name. You can tell, again, pretty well-rounded. She's a level 10 because she's not been shifting for a while, but she's a pretty strong shifter, especially when we compare it to her uncle. So she's kind of like halfway at her potential. And for features, we have actor, which she's gonna need if she's gonna act like Alen, and savage attack, because that girl goes hard and then vomits a lot afterwards. I love this picture of her like tackling Adian. Okay. Any more? Anyone dying to see one?
These are awesome, by the way. I really want to play this, but
Can we go ahead and look at Alen? Why not? Like,
Yeah,
she's like the
we
main
should.
character here. Let's just check her out.
Yeah. Okay. Alen, aka Fireheart. So she's a half elf.
Is that her in the game?
Yeah, this is her character. Elves are like the closest to fae that we get. There's actually a fae species or race in D&D, but they're like way different, so it's closer to elves. So she's half elf. They're very charismatic. They have dark vision. There's a specific variant where she can have elf weapon training, which fits with her background. Sorcerers are one of the classes where the character is born with inherent magic that came from some higher power. So in this case would be like Mala. And specifically within Sorcerer, I made her a pyromancer for obvious reasons. Her background is faceless. And basically that means that you have a disguise or like a persona, a second persona. And when you're one of them, people don't recognize that you're the other. And then she's also a chaotic good. Her ideals are confusion, deception is a weapon, strike from where your foes won't expect, which I thought was like 100% what happened in this book. I made her level 14 because she's basically been training since she was 8, even before then. And she's super powerful, but she does still have room to grow. Her highest ability modifiers are charisma, followed by intelligence. Got some pretty good max hit points there. And then for features, she's an inspiring leader. She like gets everyone to show up. And then I added mobile because she, as we know, can run faster than a horse.
Nice callback. This is really cool.
Yeah, this
I
is
had
this is
so
sweet.
much fun doing this. I'm gonna pick a lead. Elide. I liked her because I made her a halfling, which is like a hobbit, because she's small and light-footed and practical and stealthy, and they have like a lot of luck. And I swear, Eli's just like super lucky. I made her a rogue because rogues are like, they rely on skill and stealth and sourcing out their foes' vulnerabilities. And within that, she's a mastermind, which basically means she's really good at manipulating people. And then her background is a charlatan, aka a con man. I gave her chaotic neutral. So chaotic, she's creative. She never uses the same con twice. And she aspires to make something of herself. Her intelligence and her charisma are her highest powers. Despite being a pretty high level rogue, she only has 51 hit points because, you know, she's got that bum leg. And her features are being lucky and having a silver tongue. She can talk herself out of lots of stuff.
I love that picture of her on the left.
With Manon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spent way too much time finding pictures. I think the best character, like if we were gonna play this, you would want to be Rowan because he's a level 20, you know, but he's been, you know, alive for a long time. So.
Yeah, I kind of want to see. Yeah, we can see. I just want to see all of them actually. I kind of want to see Dorian too. We look at Dorian.
Okay, I can just try to go fast. Okay, so Rowan, aka Buzzard, he's an elf, obviously, because they're like fae. Specifically, a high elf, moon elf, because they have very light coloring, like that white hair that he has. He's also multi-classed, so he's a fighter, specifically in 2 weapon fighting, because he likes to use his axe and sword. And his archetype is a battle master, so basically he's like really good within a war type situation, and he gets like 3 actions in his attack. He's like totally buff. And then his druid part, he's a land druid, and I basically did that so that he could be a hawk. And it also gives him his wind-like magic. His background's the haunted one. He's haunted by the memory of his mate and son. He's not even really his mate. And he is lawful good. He likes to know his enemy's capabilities and weaknesses before rushing into battle, which Alen doesn't really afford him much time, but he makes do. As you can see, level 20, he is very strong and has a high constitution. Not very charismatic. He lets Alen do that. Max hit points of 280. Which is
Holy
awesome.
crap.
I know. And then his features, he's alert. So like any slight movement, he like is aware of it. And then warcaster basically means that you fought against a lot of war or magic type warriors and you're like skilled with fighting against them. Dorian, aka Princeling. He's trying. He's a human, which you know, they are what they are. I made him a wizard because instead of being born with magic, wizards have to learn magic. And technically Dorian's born with magic, but for this book, he spends most of the time learning how to use it. Specifically School of Evocation, because they deal with powerful elemental effects, which is like his raw magic is mostly just elements. And they have to keep their spells in a spell book, and he's such a book nerd. Oh, that's it. Background, he's a noble, prince turned king. I put him good, neutral. So he is really into respect. He respects people regardless of station. A flaw that kind of goes along with that is he has insatiable desire for carnal pleasures. He just came into his magic, so he's level 6, which is low relative to our other players. His intelligence is his biggest strength. And then for features, he has a keen mind and he's telekinetic. He can use his raw magic to form hands and stuff when he's sexing up on Manon. Okay, we did those. This one I think Clayton you would like. Alen, aka Wolf of the North. He's a half elf, which we talked about with Alen. He's a barbarian class, which means they like to rage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's Path of the Beast, so that gives him some of those Fey-like characteristics, like bites and stuff. He also gets extra attacks during his action, and his attacks are more aggressive and brutal and faster. So he's like definition tank. Background, he's a folk hero. His destiny is to stand against tyrants, and he has a feature called rustic hospitality. So basically all the common folk love him and will like let them stay at his house for free and buy him drinks and stuff. He's also a chaotic good. Actually, I might have made him chaotic neutral. I don't remember. But chaos is the important part. He's really into freedom. Again, doesn't like tyrants. And his bonds are tools that are symbols of his past life. So like his sword and his shield of Ornith that he carries with him to remember where he's from. I put him at a level 10 because he's also been training his whole life. But you know, he's only 20 some. When you compare him to Rowan, he's got a while to go. Strength is his biggest ability. And his features are Sentinel, because he keeps watch, and Tavern Brawler, because he made a weapon out of that barn stool by one time. So he's really good at improvising weapons. Oh, I guess I could just go to, let's just go to Nezrin next. Okay, Windseeker. Again, human, self-explanatory. She's also fighter, but specifically archery, and then within that, arcane archer. So she can not only shoot arrows really well, but she can also shoot magic arrows. And her background is City Watch, because that's where she started, was as City Watch, and is now captain of the guard. And I put her like pretty neutral. She kind of just like looks out for herself and her family. And that's her ideal here, is my city, nation, or people are all that matter. Her dexterity is her highest because you need dexterity to shoot arrows. And her features are sharpshooter, which makes her even more accurate, in mounted combatant, so that she can ride the rucks while she's shooting. So cute. Oh, Irene. I think Irene's the last one. I mean, Irene, I'm sorry, aka heir apparent. I made her race Asimar, which is basically like mortal descendants of angels. So she's very angelic. But with that, they're like protectors and healers, and they can also do radiant damage. So they can damage stuff with their light. Her class is a cleric, which is basically what you do for a healer. They're imbued in service to a certain deity, in her case, Silba. I made her the life domain because she values life. She can do anything from healing to actually raising the dead, which she kind of did with Kale when he broke his back the second time. And they're really good at killing undead creatures, which I don't know how Michael vetted out the Valg, but I would think they might qualify as undead. And then her background is a far traveler because she traveled from a distant, unheard of place. And I made her good neutral. So she's inquisitive. She likes to learn new things, has a thirst for knowledge. Wisdom and charisma are basically her only skills. She's not very strong. Can't be very smart if she's with Kale. And for features, she's a medic, which is gives her more like battle ready healing skills. And then I made her martial adept because she did learn self-defense and is teaching self-defense. So she can handle herself a little bit. And then I think that's it. So if we want to play, you can pick any of those characters. I have them fully built, and then we would download this app and I could share that character to you through that app.
Katie, that was an insane amount of work.
That was awesome.
If you've never made a D&D character before, like this is just an absurd amount of time.
Yeah. I mean,
doing all that 10 times.
everyone's Drink Talk Learn was awesome. Not that they're always good, but this one especially, I think everyone just knocked out of the park. What else? Oh yeah, people subscribe to our podcast. Look
Yeah,
it
like
up.
us. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube.
I'm gonna go.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, you
Bye,
guys
guys.
too.
All right,
Bye.
See ya.
bye guys.